Hi, babies! Mommy's home!
Reptiles have ain't pretty. I am the Night. I am Batman.
But he is my father.
I am he who is called Raish Al Ghul. He's in there. I want him by any means necessary.
Call me Poison Ivy.
Clark. This is between you and me.
Come on, Tommy, get over here! Get that thing going!
What's going down, Green Screen Entertainment fans? Your boy Jay Green back right now with my third installment in my little mini series right here that is breaking down the DCEU in regards to what Zack Snyder has produced and or directed specifically, okay? Once again, I'm trying to get y'all mentally and emotionally ready for the Snyder Cut that is coming out on HBO Max tomorrow, Thursday the 18th. Get ready for it, y'all. Now, the way that I'm gonna break this movie down is not gonna be a straight up full on review. Look, I'm not gonna front on y'all. There's not the most great things to say about this film. This film has a whole heap of issues that even I cannot look past. But what I am gonna do is I'm gonna give you some of my lightweight thoughts and feelings, probably some of the biggest things that did work for me, some of the biggest things that didn't work for me, but I'm also gonna give y'all a little bit of knowledge behind the scenes as to why we are even getting a Snyder Cut. What is it? Where did it come from? Why do we have it? What in the F went wrong? All right, fam, now we're gonna jump right into the deep end and I'm gonna break down the basic plot to the 2017 version of Justice League. We got our 6 heroes. They come together. Now, in a very short period of time, they develop a nice chemistry. But while they're developing that nice chemistry, a conflict is on the rise. We got Steppenwolf, and this guy is a destroyer of worlds, if you will. And he's trying to seek out these mother boxes that are gonna give him all the power that he needs to destroy anything and everyone that he wants in his path. He's an old school, mustache twirling villain. He's one note. There's not much to him, okay? Now, by the end of the movie, they're gonna defeat the bad guy and they're gonna rise above, and then now you got the Justice League, and that is what it is. Now, what worked for me with the 2017 Justice League? What worked for me was most of the Justice League members. Of course, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, legit. We've already got them established in previous films, okay? Aquaman, new addition, Jason Momoa coming in hot, hella funny, super cool, mad swag. We got Ray Fisher, he did a great job being that brooding, kind of quiet, super smart type guy, similar to a Batman, but he's half man, half cyborg, and he's a black dude, member of the Justice League, so I'm down with that. Now, the one cat that I really wasn't feeling was Ezra Miller's Flash. Now, I'm not exactly sure of what type of notes he was getting or who was writing his jokes, but they all fell flat to me. He came off more annoying and kiddish and cartoonish rather than what Zack Snyder had been building into the Justice League or building into Batman vs Superman and building into Man of Steel all this entire time. It was completely off to me. I felt like he was in a completely separate film from what everyone else was in, and I didn't like that. Another thing that didn't work for me was the lack of development for these actual characters. I'm gonna example Marvel. What Marvel did amazing was that they gave each character their own film so that you were actually attached to the character. You believed what that character could or couldn't do. They truly built you into that universe. Now, even if DC chose not to do individual films for all of the Justice League, that's okay. But you can still take the time to develop the characters in this particular film. And you really didn't do that. There's a lot of scenes that they showed in the trailers, Flash saving someone from a car crash, Ray Fisher playing football, getting a little bit of backstory to who he was before this accident. And they never truly developed that. At least that's not what we saw in the 2017 version. So when I'm seeing these characters on screen, I'm happy to see them, yes, but at the same time, I really have no emotional connection to them. So I know they're gonna win. I'm not really ever worried about them. I just don't really care what's going on with them in particular. And as the movie went on, because of this, I find myself checking out on most of the Justice League. I'm only really caring about what else Bruce Wayne Batman can show me and how they're actually gonna raise Superman back from the dead. And I find that, like, if that's really all I was caring about when there's like 6 members total of the Justice League, your movie kind of failed. Now, one of the biggest things overall that didn't work for me with the Justice League, because remember, I'm telling you right now, when I watch this movie, I'm watching the entire film, but I could care less about that final act, that final battle. I'm not really tripping other than the fact that Superman comes back, gives us some ice breath, some laser eyes, things like this, you know, the normal shenanigans. But what really didn't work for me in the movie was that, again, this 2017 version was a completely different tone in a sense than what Zack Snyder had previously presented us. He built us into a universe with Man of Steel, giving us that fish out of water, that person who didn't feel like they had a home, they didn't feel welcome. Then he puts that person in Batman v Superman who's answering to the destruction that he caused in trying to save us. He comes together with Batman. And both of those films have darker themes that, to me personally, are more entertaining, more engaging, and also separated what DC was when Zack Snyder started from what Marvel was. Now you have 2 amazing comic book properties that are, in a way, opposite from each other. Even if you have the Justice League over here with its 6 members fighting crime and crazy villains, and you have Marvel doing what Marvel's doing, their tones and their themes are still completely different, and you can enjoy both. Nobody's biting off of anyone else. But like I said, both these previous movies had darker themes. You got Batman wondering if he deserves to hang up the cape and the cowl, because as soon as he did, we now have this new threat. Maybe he feels like he needs to remain on his post. He doesn't deserve a normal life. We got Superman, who saved the world, but still feels regret. Still feels like too many people died on his watch. He killed Zod. He didn't want to do that, right? And now he's answering not only to his own conscience, but to us. Those darker themes and tones that were in the previous films should have been explored and developed more as we got into the Justice League. As Batman and Superman eventually come together along with the other team members, there should have been some emotion or some conflict or something that brings them together that they have to overcome as a team and as a unit. That too would have been a different conflict than what we've seen in other properties, is where the team had its own conflict before they came together, right? And still kind of talking about how they changed some of those themes, they've also changed some of the characters in general. Let's look at Batman when he was in Batman vs Superman. That boy was not playing around. This dude is smashing people's faces into the ground. He's blowing dudes up, and he don't give a damn who you is. He finna brand you, knowing that you might go to prison and you might get shanked because you got that bat symbol branded on your chest. He don't give a F. But what they do, they bring him into this one because a couple of people said he was a little too mean in the previous film, and they neuter his ass. Remember back in the day before Mike Tyson had a podcast? Remember back in the day before Mike Tyson was in The Hangover with a tiger and we think he's all fun and cute and cuddly now? Back in the day, Mike Tyson was in live press conferences telling women not to talk unless they fornicate with him. He was also saying he'll eat your kids. There was a Mike Tyson, and then there was the Mike Tyson now. You had Batman vs Superman, and we had Batman in Justice League. I want Mike Tyson when he was talking about, I'm gonna eat your kids. That's Batman. He kick ass, he take names, he don't give a F, he gonna get the job done. And you done neutered him in this film. You made him standoffish, you made him timid, you made him scary, and you're trying to make him funny. Look, the last time you tried to make Batman funny was when Joel Schumacher took over for Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, and he damn near sank the franchise. Christopher Nolan brought Batman back, and that boy was serious. He ain't making no jokes, and ain't nobody cry about that. Give me back my serious ass Batman. That's one thing that I love that Zack Snyder did, was he made Batman a beast. All right, y'all, now it's a little bit of story time. So most of y'all out there probably don't even understand what's the difference between the Snyder Cut and what we saw in 2017 in the theater. And frankly, we don't know yet because we ain't seen the Snyder Cut. But for those of y'all that have no idea why we have the Snyder Cut, here's the deal. So, like I said, DC and Warner Brothers were extremely reactionary to what was going on at Marvel's camp. They saw what their movies were doing and felt, man, we should be getting more money. We should be getting more critic acclaim, if you will, more fan favor, if you will. So they kept trying to change some things around. However, they'd already agreed with Zack Snyder on his vision that he'd had for Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, Justice League, things of this nature. In the end of the day, they come to him and say, look, we need you to cut all this stuff out of the film. We need it to be a certain length in time. He's dealing with that. Then they say, we don't like this, we don't like that. They're trying to take things out like this. But remember, these things are important to this man's vision. At the same time, he has a horrible tragedy go on in his personal life. You can look it up if you want to read about it. But it's a terrible, terrible tragedy that I wouldn't wish on any damn buddy going on in his personal life at the same time that the studio is telling him we no longer believe in the vision that we said we believed in. We no longer believe that you are able to steer this ship. Kick rocks. And they kick him off basically, and then they bring Joss Whedon in there to punch some things up. Joss Whedon's coming around talking about I've done this, I've done that, yada, yada, yada. They give the film to him. He remakes damn near all of the movie, and you can tell because again, the tone has completely shifted. Things that happened in Justice League would have never effing happened in Man of Steel or Batman v Superman. The writing was lazy. The jokes were flamboyant. The graphics were shitty. Everything was so different from what Zack Snyder was presenting us in these previous films. And right now, what we have is all the material and all the footage that Zack Snyder had already shot, and a little bit more that he might have reshot afterwards, once HBO agreed to front the money to finish his version of Justice League. And that's what we're getting. So, do I know if it's going to be better? I don't know. It could be worse. Who knows? But that's what I'm excited to see. I feel that this Justice League, there was a whole lot of hands messing around. People telling them to take stuff out. People telling them to put stuff in. Another director comes in, puts his swag on it. So messed up, so muddled, characters underdeveloped, things of this nature. Storylines from previous films, not finished, not concluded. Hopefully we get that in this movie. I'm going to be up. I heard that it's coming out at 11 p.m. Wednesday night. That's tonight, baby. I'm going to be up watching that shit till 3 in the morning. I hear it's like 4 hours long. And I don't give a good goddamn. I will be that tired the next day. And I'm going to bring y'all that spoiler-free review. And then later on in the week, I'm going to give y'all that spoiler-heavy discussion review. So if I remember correctly, I'm sure that when I did my original review for Justice League, I probably gave it a more favorable review than I did now. But you know what? I've had some opportunity to watch it more often, to let it sit, to let it marinate, to understand what was truly going on behind the scenes, and I've changed my mind. The wonderful thing about being a human is you can change your mind. You can let some things evolve and marinate and come up with some different conclusions for yourself. Now, is it my goal to change your swag or your mind about any of these films? Not at all. I'm just breaking them down how I see them and how I think they go, okay? This movie here, I think it's entertaining enough to watch only because of the fact that it is the Justice League. You do get Batman, you do get Superman, Wonder Woman is great, things like this. Jason Momoa is funny in the movie. He is great as a comedic relief, if you will, comic relief. But other than that, this movie is very forgettable. And being a Justice League film, that is a failure. So, not a good movie, fun, entertaining to put on, but definitely doesn't hold any weight or no candle to what Zack Snyder has already given us in BVS and Man of Steel. That's for damn sure. Well, all right, y'all. I just gave y'all that review from Man of Steel and why I think it's a masterpiece. I let you know what I truly thought about the unrated version, the fuller edition of BVS, and I let you know what I really think and feel after it's marinated for a little bit of time in my mind of the Justice League, the 2017 version. As I said before, I'm super duper looking forward to watching Snyder Cut Justice League. Tonight is when I hear it's supposed to come out at 11, but the official release date is March 18th. That's Thursday. So the next time you see me, I'm going to be giving y'all a spoiler-free review of the Snyder Cut. And then later in the week, you got my spoiler-heavy discussion review. Hopefully, if I can get one of my friends down to do it with me, you're going to get some real details. Okay? Yo, I hope that you've been enjoying these videos that I've been posting up here. If you have, comment below. Let me know what you think about them. What are you taking away from them? Things of this nature. Other than that, I'm going to see y'all tomorrow. Holla.